Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Forager video. My name is Alex Shevelev, Senior Analyst on the Australian Shares Fund. And today I've got with me Gaston Amoros, also Senior Analyst on the Australian Shares Fund. Hi, Gaston.
Hi, Shev. How are you?
Well, thank you. So today we'll be talking about reopening. I'm handing it over to you now, Gaston.
Thank you, Shev. So we get the question a lot about the reopening trades and whether there are any opportunities left in the ASX. People normally reference things like in travel and tourism, Webjet or Flight Centre. In entertainment, you have things like Leisure and Star Group, and in shopping malls, you have things like Centre Group and Vicinity Centres. And these stocks are all up and to the right. They're working very nicely. And the question is, do we have any opportunities left in the ASX? And there is one that we like, that we own. Unibail-Westfield is the owner of the Westfield malls in the USA and UK, and Unibail malls in Europe. And it's not really performing in line with the other stocks at this time.
But that's on the share price, right, Gaston? What about the actual underlying business? Have they said much recently?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. So the business is actually trading well. It's recovering. They told us in August, at the time of the half-year results, they told us that both sales and traffic are actually recovering quite quickly once the countries open up. In the case of the US, sales are back to pre-COVID levels in the last few months, and in the case of Europe, they are like 80 or 90% of pre-COVID levels, which is a nice trajectory considering where they're coming from. So the businesses are performing well, but the stock is not performing well, and the reason why it isn't is because this type of trades in Europe are not working at the moment, and that's a separate question why they're not working, but the business itself is trading well. And what's also interesting about Unibail is that in the process of disposing assets, they're halfway through the disposals in Europe, which they're doing close to book value, and the more assets you sell, the more your leverage comes down, which is contributes towards the re-rating of the shares. And they have another process to dispose of assets in the US. And we think it's quite an interesting opportunity. And sorry, the reason why we're talking about it is it has a line in the ASX. It's listed both in Europe and in the ASX, and the line here is not as liquid, but still trades a decent amount.
That's right. I think the ones that you mentioned, Gaston, are pretty well-known, larger businesses. We do have a couple that are not necessarily on the travel side, but also very much fall into the bucket of reopening. And the two investments we have there are AMA Group, which is a panel beating business, and Viva Leisure, which is an owner of gyms. Now, understandably, both of those businesses have been quite hard hit by the most recent lockdowns. No one driving and fewer accidents, and definitely no one heading in to the gyms. But interestingly, what has happened over those last couple of months is both those businesses, in order to sustain their balance sheet and to be in a position to strongly reopen, have raised capital. And it's really this reaction from the capital raise that was particularly interesting. So AMA Group was mooted as a potential capital raise candidate for a while, raised $100 million plus a $50 million convertible note, and is now trading 33% higher than the initial raise price in a matter of a month. And Viva, much the same, in a matter of a couple of months, has rallied more than 50%. It's really interesting to see how investors now, we've got vaccine news that's positive. We've got a very clear line of sight to the reopening. These reopening plays, even if they require capital, are then being very strongly supported subsequent to that.
That's right. And maybe on the other end of the spectrum of these reopening trades versus COVID beneficiaries, we could talk about software and online marketplaces, which is, as we said, the other end of the reopening trades. But maybe we leave that for another session.
That's a good teaser for next time, Gaston. Thanks for talking today, and we'll see you all next time.